Hello everyone, welcome to Distance Learning with Ms. Hernandez Cruz. Today's first lesson is going to be over reading language arts. Now, as you noticed, the selection that we have chosen this week is from the previous week. Now that you've read it, you've gone through it, we're going to go more into depth. Now, you had a weekly question. Your weekly question was, how can a hero's actions affect other people? Now, that should have been something that you should have been looking into while reading. Because remember, good readers always ask questions. Now, before we even start with the selection, there's a couple of things we need to get through before we can even open up and start reading the selection, but start prepping our minds on what we're going to be reading today. Now, this whole unit is about heroes, and how heroes can affect people, not in just this day, but in the long run. So this unit opens up with a poem. It's called You Are a Hero. Now, all I want you to listen to see, can you answer the weekly question? How can a hero's actions affect other people? Now, I'm reading the poem that's on page 60 and 61 in your My View. This poem's called You Are My Hero. A hero does not shy away when action must be taken. He rustles up his courage and she faces fear unshaken. Selfless and quite humble, caring and always kind, heroes come in many sizes. But their actions always shine. Heroes can go unnoticed while quietly doing good. With helping hands and loving words, take action when they should. Can a person be a hero with no one else to save? Can a hero be a hero? Alone, though feeling brave, consider those around you and what they truly need. Take someone's hand in yours and help them with your deeds. And I really like this selection because it shows a beautiful illustration, of a child, really asking you, can you be a hero? In many aspects of our life, we go through different challenges, obstacles, and what you get out of that is up to you, which leads back to our question. How can a hero's actions affect other people? Now, you could be someone's heroes with different things about you. So within our selection, you're going to be reading about someone that maybe a child looked up to as a hero. Before you move on to the selection, there's a little part right here on page 61. Now, the reason why we're heading back to this selection, because there's different parts and aspects of assignments that I really want to have turned in. And this was one of the pages, 61. All you have to illustrate here, just in this little empty box, is something that a hero could be doing, okay? And it could be fictional, like superheroes, or it can be not fiction. That means something that's happening in the real world or in your real life of a heroic action. Now, when you turn to the next page, in class, we always looked at different types of anchor charts. Now, this is going to give you a good insight what to use and say, okay, I don't know, or I can't remember what historical fiction is. This gives you a good gist of what it is. Now, in our story, we are looking at historical fiction. Now, when they're saying historical fiction, it could be live in a setting. It could be a real place, like Washington, D.C. is a real place. San Antonio, Texas is a real place. You cannot say, to Wakanda. Wakanda's not a real place, so that would be fictional. It has to be a real place when you're talking about historical fiction. If you start off with a setting that's not real, then it's straight fictional, okay? Now, it can be about real people and say, oh, this is about George Washington, or it's about Abraham Lincoln, or this is about Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay, those are real people that we know or have been alive in the past, or it can still be alive today. You can still talk about Bill Gates. You can still talk about different people, Oprah Winfrey. Okay, now in this aspect, historical fiction can be real people with a mixture, maybe fictional characters. Because it could be about Dr. Martin Luther King, but maybe he's talking to a little boy named Mark. And we may not know if that little boy is real or not, but because it talks about a real person, Dr. Martin Luther King, it will stay as a historical fiction, even though they may be some other made up characters. Now, historical fiction, they face real problems, okay? It can be about poverty. It can be about trying to achieve a dream, a goal. It can be about a story about that person's life, okay? But they're going to be facing real problems. It could be a problem where that person in real life had a disability. They had a hard time with math. They had a hard time with reading or writing or something, but these real problems, okay? It can be about growing up in a family that may not have everything. It can be growing up in a family that may not look like a mom, dad, brother, sister. Families look different now, okay? But really start looking at that spotlight on the genre. Historical fiction. What's the purpose? How do the characters look like, okay? Now, in that page, before you even move on to the selection, you know, our book really takes you to really stop and think, okay? What is your purpose of reading the historical fiction? What am I going to be learning about it? Okay, it's not just reading, answering questions, but really stopping and thinking about, okay, they chose the story to be part of my curriculum about my book. What was the purpose of it? There has to be a deeper meaning. That's where you're going to answer right here. Now, it does say to turn and talk. You know, usually that's when we do a think, pair, share. But this is a time maybe you want to tell a parent, a brother, a sister, a friend, or something like that to discuss, you know, what might this be about, looking at that historical fiction. You may have not read a book or this story before yet, because, you know, the reason why I extended it, because some people have turned it in and some people have not, okay? Majority have not, okay? Now, when you're looking at this, you're analyzing characters. You're analyzing what historical fiction is and what makes this story historical fiction compared to other stories we have read throughout the year, okay? Now, you're going to have important vocabulary that you're going to be looking at, okay? Now, in your vocabulary, you're going to have the word figured, complain, patience, temper, and remembered. Always keep an eye out how they use these vocabulary words within the story as well, okay? Those of you that can leave a comment in the video, I want you to use one of these words in a good, complete sentence in the comments below so that other students can see, okay, these are the words I'm going to be using. Let me start practicing and using them in my writing today. Now, this is just an intro video for our selection or our story. But our story is Granddaddy's Turn, okay? You have a preview of the selection right there. Remember, illustrations are always important for you to use to give a good prediction. So right there, we're going to go ahead and pause. The next video will be getting into the selection as well. But remember, good readers always preview vocabulary, preview the selection, really look at the genre, which is historical fiction. So I'm hoping that we can continue with this this online learning, you know, where you can look at the videos when you are available, so that if it's something live and I only have 6 kids and then I'm having the other 14 kids, you know, missing out on the lesson. At least in this platform, you're able to look at the videos when you're available with your parent or when they allow you to use technology as well. But just take a look at the vocabulary, choose a really good word to write a good complete sentence in the comments below. But other than that, you know, I'm hoping that little by little you're gaining, you know, if you're learning at least 1 or 2 things every day, that is amazing. But if you can continue reading and reading and reading, that's going to help you out so much in the long run. Okay, have a wonderful day. Know that I miss you all so much.